Right, let's get something straight from the off. There's this idea floating around, a bit of a myth really, that tongue scraping is some sort of magical cure-all for every single problem you could possibly have in your mouth. You scrape your tongue once, and suddenly you've got the breath of a spring meadow and the dental health of a Hollywood superstar. Well, I'm here to tell you that's not quite the whole story. It's a bit like saying one good song can make an entire album a classic. It helps, but there's more to it. So I decided to put it to the test myself, to cut through the noise and see what's what. For 30 days, I committed to this little ritual. Every morning before my first cup of tea, I took on the task of scraping my tongue. It sounds a bit odd, doesn't it? A bit medieval, almost. But the facts are that people have been doing this for centuries. Now, before we go any further, let's talk about the tool of the trade itself. What is a tongue scraper? At its heart, it's an incredibly simple device. Imagine a small, curved piece of metal. Imagine a small, curved piece of plastic, often shaped like a U, or a long, thin strip with handles. It's designed specifically for one job and one job only, to clean the surface of your tongue. You don't plug it in. It doesn't vibrate. It certainly won't order your shopping for you. It's pure, old-school, manual labor for your mouth. There's a certain charm to that, isn't there? It's refreshingly low-tech in a high-tech world. Place this tool at the back of your tongue. Gently pull it forward towards the tip. The edge of the scraper skims the surface, collecting and removing the thin film. It's like a squeegee for your tongue, clearing away leftover bits and pieces. Some people use the edge of a spoon. So, what is this stuff that the scraper is actually removing? What is this gunk we're talking about? The surface of your tongue isn't smooth like a marble countertop. It's covered in tiny little bumps called papillae. They house your taste buds. This textured surface is a perfect hiding place for microscopic party crashers. It creates a complex landscape where tiny particles get trapped. Like a shaggy carpet where crumbs and dust settle. The coating you see can be whitish, yellowish, or a bit darker. It's a cocktail of different things: dead skin cells, leftover food debris, and a massive colony of bacteria. Your tongue is basically a bustling metropolis for microorganisms. Some bacteria are harmless, others produce smelly compounds. It's clear proof something needed to be cleaned off. All right, let's get to the main event for many people: bad breath, or halitosis if you want to sound fancy. This is probably the #1 reason people pick up a tongue scraper. The connection is quite direct. A huge portion of bad breath cases originates from right inside the mouth. Some experts say up to 80 or 90%. And the tongue is often the prime suspect. It's not always about that piece of garlic bread you had for lunch. It's about the bacteria that live on the back of your tongue long after the food is gone. Here's the simple science behind it. Certain types of bacteria thrive in low-oxygen environments, known as anaerobic bacteria, and they love the deep crevices on the back of your tongue. As they feast on proteins from food particles and dead cells, they release waste products. These waste products are smelly gases called volatile sulfur compounds, or VSCs. Think rotten eggs or cabbage, not exactly the scent you want in close conversation. By physically removing the biofilm and the sticky layer of bacteria and their food source, you directly reduce the number of VSC-producing culprits in your mouth. You're not just masking the smell like a mint or a piece of gum. You're actually removing the source of the problem. Section 5. Beyond fresh breath, the broader health claims. While banishing bad breath is a fantastic selling point, the conversation around tongue scraping often ventures into claims of broader health benefits. Some proponents suggest it can do everything from improving your immune system, aiding digestion. The theory is that by removing a large bacterial load from the tongue, you prevent those toxins and bacteria from being swallowed and entering your gut, or potentially being inhaled into your respiratory system. It's an appealing idea, the thought that a clean tongue could lead to a healthier body overall. One of the most frequently mentioned benefits, aside from fresh breath, is an enhanced sense of taste. This one actually makes a lot of sense. Your taste buds are located on your tongue, and if they're buried under a thick blanket of gunk, it's logical that their ability to detect flavors would be dulled. By scraping away that coating, you're essentially uncovering your taste buds and allowing them to have full contact with your food. That morning coffee just hits a little differently. Embarking on my 30-day tongue scraping challenge, I knew I had to get the technique right. It's not complicated, but doing it properly makes all the difference between a clean tongue and a sore one. First, I chose my weapon, a simple U-shaped stainless steel scraper. I liked the idea that it was sturdy, easy to sterilize, and would likely last forever. I decided to incorporate it into my morning routine, right after brushing my teeth but before rinsing, to make it a habit. Standing in front of the bathroom mirror was essential, especially in the beginning, to see what I was doing. Here's the play-by-play of my daily ritual. I'd start by opening my mouth and sticking my tongue out as far as was comfortable. This helps to minimize the gag reflex. Then I'd take the scraper, holding it with both hands, and place the curved edge as far back on my tongue as I could without gagging. For me, that was about 2/3 of the way back. You have to listen to your body. There's no prize for pushing it too far and making yourself uncomfortable. A common question that came up when I told people about my experiment was, can't I just use my toothbrush? It's a fair point. Most of us already have a toothbrush in hand twice a day, and many modern brushes even come with a ridged tongue cleaner on the back of the head and cheek cleaner. So I decided to compare the two methods to see if a dedicated scraper was really necessary. Using the bristles of my toothbrush felt, well, a bit like brushing a carpet. It seemed to move the gunk around more than it actually removed it. While it probably dislodged some debris, it didn't give me that satisfying feeling of a clean sweep. It also felt a little harsh on the delicate surface of my tongue. More importantly, I worried that I was just pushing bacteria deeper into the tiny crevices between the papillae rather than lifting it away. It felt like an inefficient way to tackle the problem, like trying to clear snow with a rake instead of a shovel. Then I tried the rubbery nubs on the back of the toothbrush head. This was definitely a step up from using the bristles. It felt a bit like a scraper and did manage to remove some of the coating. The flat, wide profile of a dedicated scraper seems to make better contact with the tongue surface, applying more even pressure and removing the film in a single clean layer. In my experience, the dedicated tongue scraper won the contest, hands down. As I settled into my new routine, I was conscious that even simple habits can have downsides if done incorrectly. Tongue scraping is widely considered very safe, but it's not entirely without risks, especially if you get a bit overzealous. The most obvious danger is causing physical injury. If you apply too much pressure or use a scraper with a sharp or jagged edge, you could easily cut or scrape the delicate surface of your tongue. This can lead to soreness, bleeding, a general feeling of discomfort that completely defeats the purpose of the exercise. Gentleness is absolutely the most important rule. Another potential issue is triggering your gag reflex. The key, as I learned, is to start more towards the middle of your tongue and gradually test how far back you can comfortably go. Over time, your reflex may become less sensitive, but there's no need to force it. Scraping the back half, 2/3, is where the most benefit lies anyway, as the front portion is more self-cleaning. So, after 30 days of diligently scraping, what's the final word? Is this ancient ritual worth adding to your modern-day routine? For me, the answer is a resounding yes. It's a small investment of time, less than a minute each day, for a noticeable and immediate return. The single biggest benefit was the undeniable feeling of cleanliness. My mouth just felt fresher. That feeling lasted for hours longer than brushing alone, like the difference between just rinsing a dish and actually scrubbing it clean. The impact on my breath was also clear. I didn't have bad breath before, but mornings felt neutrally fresh. The improvement in my sense of taste was a delightful bonus. Flavors, especially in the morning, were sharper. That first sip of tea felt more aromatic, fruits tasted sweeter, a subtle shift that makes eating and drinking more enjoyable. It's a small change that makes a real difference. but keep it in perspective. Tongue scraping is not a magic bullet. It did not cure my hay fever. It didn't make me better at public speaking. And it's not a replacement for oral care basics. Brush your teeth twice a day. Floss? Yes, really. Visit your dentist for regular checkups. Tongue scraping is a supplement, a supporting actor for a healthy mouth. So, my final advice, give it a try. For the cost of a couple of coffees, you can buy a scraper that lasts years. Commit to it for a few weeks. Be gentle. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content. And thanks for watching.